Hello and welcome back to Bosco's Toy Box. I am back with more toy collectibles, and it's to show you another brand new 3-pack from Lanard Corporation, and this is for the brand new Corps Elite figures. You do get 2 brand new figures, the one on the left and the one on the right, and then the one on the center is Buckshot, and he's just a rehash. Could be different, like a color scheme and whatnot. But I just wanted to show you just really quickly with Buckshot is that I just really do love the little bit of a characteristic that they put with his mustache, because he's kind of got like a mustache where he's kind of giving a smirk, and even one of the actually one of my friends in the collector's dungeon kind of gave, I think it was on Instagram, that he kind of looked like Bernie Lomax from Weekend at Bernie's, is that within the face and with the mustache. So it's actually pretty funny because it's actually kind of true. But just love Buckshot just because of that characteristic little feature there. And but yeah, pretty cool guy to have in your little good guy group. So all right, so the first figure that I'm going to show you, and I'll show you the motorcycle later, but this gentleman here, who goes by the name, or he actually goes by the code name Trickshot, and his real name is Logan Chance. And Mr. Logan Chance here does have like this kind of short brown haircut. Almost, I don't know if you want to call it a military haircut, but almost. But he's got this great orange, kind of like a Kevlar. It's actually a vest that's got like multiple pouches. And then as you can see there, he actually does have a pistol holstered there in his vest. Of course, it's a pistol that doesn't come out. It's actually molded on. And on the back, if I can remove the gun really quickly, so you can see what the vest looks like with the gun not being in the way. You can actually see he's like really decked out. It looks like right there that he may have some flares or some type of stick explosives there maybe. And that he actually just has, he's actually just really decked out with pouches. So once I read the bio, maybe we can get a better, maybe like a better understanding of why he has this big vest of pouches here. So the 2 weapons that he actually comes with, he actually comes with a pretty good handgun, and it is a pretty good solid piece of plastic. It's not so flimsy like some of the other ones that they've had in their 3-packs. And then he actually does have a larger gun. So you got some really nice detail there. You know, it's actually a scoped gun. And it actually does come with a big peg. So it can peg right in the back for the figure. And let me peg that in so you can see that it actually pegs in like, is it Ogre? Which actually I have right off to the side here. I didn't even realize that. So like with this bad guy here, he has his weapon that I can actually, if I can reach across my table, that it actually pegs exactly like, if I can peg it in, it's actually really tough to get this. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so just like Ogre here, that it actually pegs in very nicely, and it actually stays in like it should. It doesn't fall out, so it's a really good pegged in weapon to have. And then as far as his pistol goes, Mr. Trickshot here does have the holster. Now, unlike when I did the video for pack number 2, I forget whose little gun holster didn't fit the gun inside all the way because it had like that silencer part, so it actually doesn't fit inside of his little gun holster. But this one actually fits in. It actually fits in pretty snug. And as you can see there, it's an open back, and it actually stays put. And so he could actually have, let's see if he can actually reach. So if he was to reach for the pistol, so there you go. So it actually makes for a nice little pose. And let's see what it looks like. There we go. So now he's reaching for his weapon, about to kick some ass. Now, as far as the articulation goes, because they are now being advertised with the new figures to have 18 points of articulation, they actually have really, really good articulation. So Mr. Trickshot's head almost goes 360. Actually, I guess it can if you kind of... Okay, so it was just a little tough to get it all the way around. So his head is a full 360. He does have the joints up there on the shoulders, okay? And then he does have the elbow, okay? So he's got the little elbow cut. And then he also has the full swivel, okay? So you spin that around, okay? And then as far as his waist goes, he's got some bounce to him, so he can actually bounce to the side. Maybe even if you were to have him looking around a corner, he could actually kind of be peeking around the corner, so he could actually, if I can get this, so he can actually lean to the side, okay? And then he can just move just enough so he can bend a little bit back and a little bit forward, but not too much, okay? And then his legs, okay, they don't do the splits, but he does actually reach out pretty far enough for a good old kick. And then he does have the knee cut, okay? And a little bit, a little bit of a turn in the leg. Just a little bit, but some pretty good articulation, which I'm really liking this articulation more than some of these molded figures, especially the ones that have got, I've talked about it before, the bow-legged cut, which I really annoys me with some of these Lanard figures that they're making with these bow-legged stances. Okay, and what I'm going to do really quickly here is with Mr. Trickshot here is I just want to read the really quick bio on him. And again, I'm doing this from my cell phone, so I'm going to do this as easily as I can. But Mr. Trickshot, his real name is Logan Chance, and he is classified as a tech hunter. And his primary skills is quick draw pistols. So that will explain that even though that this, it's a handgun pistol, but like the one that Mr. Buckshot here has, which is like a 6-shooter, I guess. But, you know, maybe he could be versed in those kind of pistols too, because this actually does come within the 3-pack too. So he is versatile in those pistols. And then he is also a vehicular stuntman. So maybe he's worked in Hollywood before, and that he's just tired of the whole Hollywood scene, and then he's decided to serve his country and to stop the bad guys. But maybe we'll know more with this dossier. So it says here that Mr. Logan Chance, son of a well-known executive Hollywood producer, Logan Chance grew up on the film set and began a successful career as a stuntman. As a careless youth, he had his fair share of run-ins with the authorities. But after an unscrupulous director convinced him to destroy public property in an unpermitted car stunt, he was faced with 2 alternatives, jail or the military. And so we all know what path that he chose. He chose the military. It says that, luckily for Logan, the military was a perfect environment for the adrenaline junkie like himself. From wingsuit base jumping to big wave surfing, he was drawn to anything that took coordination, agility, athleticism, and danger. It says here that Logan once hit a target from 100 yards away while doing a backflip at a gun range. Because of his brazen nature and marksmanship, he received the nickname Trickshot from his friend Recoil. His stunts also caught the attention of the Corps leader Rain, and the rest is history. Logan has come a long way since his reckless past and now embraces the following of the Corps values: honor, respect, bravery, loyalty, and dedication. He may look like a pretty boy, but he knows how to hold his own in a firefight with the curse. So yes, he is a pretty boy, a Hollywood little pretty boy. You know, he's probably like his Nick Cage kind of action movies, and of course him being a stuntman. You know, he's done probably every kind of action movie that there is. So that's pretty cool. So, you know, when you're actually doing some playtime here with Mr. Logan Chance, all the vehicles that you've come to collect for the Corps Elite figures, he can handle every kind of vehicle and probably do some badass stunts with those vehicles. Okay, and then the other new figure that I am going to show you, and I'll read his dossier in a little bit here. This is Impact, and he is a cursed villain. And actually, I'm pretty sure he's a cursed villain. Wait, let me check really. I know he's a cursed villain. But Mr. Impact does not have a real name because it is classified. It's not in his dossier. And yes, he is with the curse. And this is one badass designed figure. I mean, I love that he's got this white mask, and then he's in a gray hood. Excuse me, he's in a gray kind of hood like a vigilante, and he's just got some really just awesome Kevlar vest and armor, and he's really decked out, probably just to do some probably just some evil, just like within the shadows. And he looks great, and he looks like he could probably take a beating too, and actually give out a beating and take a beating too. Mr. Impact here has the same 18-point articulation, and everything just like Mr. Trickshot, except his head, because it's actually kind of hindered by the hood, almost goes around 360, not quite. And then also with his little swivel waist, he actually has a little bit more bounce, where he can actually go a lot more side to side, and it feels a lot more springy, where he can actually bend a lot back. Like you can actually feel the rubber band or whatever is holding. I don't know if it's an O-ring or not, but it's very springy, so he actually has a lot more movement in his hips, and which is actually really, really cool. And just to show you what the back looks like, because I really haven't shown you the back that much, he actually just has a lot of his vest and armor. There's not really so much pouches, except for on his leg right there. You can see the pouch right there. He does have his gun holster, which again, they're designing these with the open holster. And his little pistol that he comes with is right, and I just lost it. It's a little bit darker gray than the one that Mr. Trickshot has, because Mr. Trickshot has a lighter gray pistol. And his pistol for Impact actually, again, does hold very snug within his little gun holster there, but it sticks out a little bit more, slightly a little bit more than what Trickshot's does, because Trickshot's kind of goes all the way in. Impact sticks a little bit out, but it does still give him enough to where, like I showed you with Trickshot, that he can holster it and he can have his hand on the trigger while in the holster. Excuse me. Now, the other awesome weapon, and I really love the way they designed this, is that he's got this weapon that is almost like it kind of looks like a very stubby little nunchuck, but it's actually kind of like like it would zap his enemies. Okay, so as you can see, the little handle is ribbed, so he can actually it gives it a nice grip when he's holding onto it. So I will put it in his hand here to show you that it actually grips really well once his hand is just below that rim right there. Okay, so also to give you a, let's see, if he was to zap, I mean, of course this would have to be at close range, but it gives him just enough to where he can zap whoever is trying to attack him. So if he has Mr. Trickshot here trying to attack him, he has just enough to where he can pulsate a lot of voltage into his enemy. And then the other thing with the weapon is that he's got this great holster, and if you can see that, the holster actually it's rounded, and I'm not too sure if you can, let's see if I can bring that light in. Okay, there you go. So as you can see, the holster is rounded inside, so it actually fits like the way it should, since that is a rounded part of the weapon. And then what sticks out is a handle, so he can grab it, of course, by the handle when he's trying to reach for it. So that's the way that it would look holstered in the back of his vest. And he just looks really cool. Actually, if I can maybe not have his hand like that, but he actually looks really cool with that holstered in the back of his vest. He looks awesome like that. I just love this figure. Is probably God, he's probably going to be my favorite figure of this new bunch here. And he almost could be a army builder, almost, but I actually just like knowing that it's just one person, that it's just Impact. His name is classified. You don't know who he is. He could be a vigilante, and he could just be working top secret. But just a badass figure. And then the other thing I wanted to point out, I don't know how well I can get this light in, but his eyes just aren't really coming out here, but you can barely see the eyes underneath the mask. But he just looks just very almost sedated almost. But a very cool figure. And if I can get him to stand up, we're going to, or actually I'm going to read the dossier on Mr. Impact really quick here. And like I said, his name is Impact, and he has no name because it's classified, and a member of the Curse. And his primary skill is lightning fast reflexes. So that would give a good reason why he does have that one weapon that does create zaps or voltage, because he can do lightning fast reflexes and probably get that little zapper in all different sections of the body with lightning speed. And then his other skill is a Kali fighting expert, and I'm hoping that I said that right. K-A-L-I, Kali fighting expert. It says that not much is known of Impact's past other than having escaped a Russian prison. So actually that makes it really interesting as well, is that he used to be in a Russian prison. So it makes him that much more mysterious and that much more of a badass, I guess. It says that it is suspected that Impact was a mercenary in Africa while living off the grid. As one of the most powerful Curse members, Impact is considered Plague's most deadly weapon. Without hesitation, Impact can carry out the most covert and dangerous Curse missions with unflinching accuracy. After an adverse skin reaction from injecting the nanotechnology. Okay, so again, there is another figure that's been affected by the nanotechnology. So it's an ongoing thing with a lot of these figures that's running through their body, or something that is affecting their whole like nervous system, is this nanotechnology. But it says that after an adverse skin reaction from injecting the nanotechnology serum too many times, Impact's skin began to decompose and become critically sensitive to light exposure. So that would also give the fact why he's wearing the white mask, why he's wearing the gray hoodie, or actually the gray hood, and then all the Kevlar. He's covering his whole entire skin as not to be affected by any kind of light exposure. It says a suit was constructed to not only preserve his physical state, but also immensely enhance his strength. Similar to Titan, his body is continuously pumped with nanotechnology serum. Now, I don't know where he is having the stuff pumped through that suit, if this is indeed the suit, but he's having the serum pumped somewhere throughout his entire body. And it says, being more machine than man, Impact's only weakness is his dependency on the serum which he needs to survive. So that's very interesting about Impact. Looking at this figure one last time here, even off camera, just to look at all the closeness of his suit here, it just gives no indication of any kind of pumps or any kind of tubing or anything like that. So maybe it's like within, underneath the suit, that's actually close to his skin. And actually, just to show you here really quick, he actually does have a knife right here. So that actually is another weapon that he carries on his person. So just an awesome figure, and a great addition to the Curse team. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was the motorcycle that came with the 3-pack. It's great that they are actually putting vehicles with the 3-packs. I love this. They've been doing this. And just to quickly show you, this is actually something that's been available in many 3-packs before. And actually, I think in one of the most recent 3-packs that they have on clearance, because I already have one of these. But to show you on the side, it does say Elite. If you can see that, it's in orange, and then it just says Striker up here near the seat. But almost like a jungle type of, oh, well, I don't want to say jungle. Maybe it's like kind of like that street racing kind of little streaks that are going on there. But and it says number 3. And since these guys are now 18-point articulation, maybe, actually I want to see what he looks like on the motorcycle, Mr. Impact here. He actually may look really pretty cool on this motorcycle. So let's see if we can actually get him attached to the handlebars here. It actually looks like that. Okay, the motorcycle doesn't stand up on its own, but once there's a figure there, the motorcycle does stand up with the figure. And actually, to get him up off the ground is actually kind of another story, just because it seems like that with him having so much waist movement, it seems like it's really hard to get him on that motorcycle. So Mr. Trickshot here, that's the only thing with these motorcycles, is that they just don't, it doesn't give a realistic look to when they're riding the motorcycle. I mean, it actually takes a lot of it just actually takes a lot of effort to get them on the motorcycle. Because the other thing is, though, even though that they grab the handlebars, which I'm not having them grab the handlebars, but it's actually more of like, just put the person on the bike and then have the child or the adult, whatever, just have your hand holding everything and then just moving it along. So that's the only drawback to these vehicles that they come with, is that It is actually kind of hard for them to grip the handlebars because they don't actually grip the handlebars and they don't actually kind of stay on the motorcycle. That's about the best that you're going to get. But still, nonetheless, that it is an awesome 3-packs that you should be picking up because cores are the toys to be getting since we're getting diddly squat from Hasbro with G.I. Joe. And just core figures and core toys are just really awesome to get and to play with, to photograph, and just whatever else that you're doing with them. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. There is one more 3-pack that I still need to show you. And I'll be doing some more vintage figures here not too shortly because I have a lot more to show you, and I bought some more stuff on eBay, and I actually will be visiting the vintage toy store here to get some more body parts to repair stuff, and I got the repair video coming up too. So a lot more to show you with the vintage core figures. And like always, keep collecting and keep playing with those toys.